Writing impactful introductions and conclusions. Business content should always include the 3 sections everyone is familiar with: the introduction, the body, and the conclusion. But for some reason, writing introductions and conclusions can be really hard. Why is that? Let's go through each of these 3 sections in order and talk about what each section is meant to do and how to write it well, starting with the introduction. Your introduction sets the stage for the rest of the piece and for the problem you're about to solve. In the introduction, you aren't necessarily trying to provide specific solutions to that problem. You're simply explaining why the problem you're about to solve is a problem in the first place. It's a chance to relate the problem to your audience, hook your readers in and get them curious, and prove why the content you're writing is worth reading. Let's hear more about introductions from Dan Pink.
The beginnings, introductions. I think it's really hard. I have a really hard time with how to begin. And what I will do sometimes is the following. I will, and I've done this many, many times, especially in magazine articles, is I will write the lead, all right? And then what I'll do is I'll basically look at it and say, oh, wow, those first 3 or 4 paragraphs, 2 or 3 paragraphs, they were just complete throat clearing. And just lop those off. So a lot of times what happens is we start writing and we're basically just clearing our throat. And it really begins at the 3rd paragraph or the 4th paragraph. And so just lop off that. Another way would be to, just basically starting by telling a story. Now that's hackneyed advice. But if you look at some of the really good, say, long-form journalism or some of the really good writing in nonfiction, you'll see a disproportionate number of the leads. The start of it is, one Thursday afternoon in 1948, Joe Schmatz walked into a bar in central Illinois. They just start telling a story. And so if you just start narrating, I think that's another way to get into it. I don't think you need to come up with the jazziest, coolest, arresting beginning. I think what you want to do is you want to start telling people something so that they keep reading from sentence to sentence to sentence to sentence to sentence. You don't need to do anything alarming. You don't need to do anything with a lot of fireworks. You just need to get started in a way that draws somebody in. Again, it's easy to say in general terms. How you execute it yourself, it requires a lot of experimentation. But for me, the 2 little tricks would be knock off the first 3 paragraphs you wrote, because you're probably starting it in the 4th paragraph. And when in doubt, try a beginning that starts with basically telling a story.
Starting your writing with a compelling story is a great way to capture your readers' attention. Other ways to hook them in include starting off with an interesting fact or statistic or a powerful question. Next, let's talk about the body. The body of your work explains the solutions to the problem you set up in the introduction. Now that you've identified a problem for your reader, they're ready to hear the solution to it. Depending on the content type, you can write your body in paragraphs, with bullets or numbered lists, or a mix of all of these. For Dan Pink, the critical thing the body of a piece of business writing must have are navigational tools like headers that help guide readers through without confusion.
Now, midpoints. I'm a big believer in giving readers navigational tools in the course of writing. Let's say an ebook or a chapter or an article. And those can be things like subheadings. I think it's very hard for people to process giant, endless blocks of text. I think it's hard for us to figure out what's important and what's not, and I think people need some kind of navigational clues. So I pay particular attention to that, particularly in books. Every chapter I have has subheads and things. I write all those myself. I do those intentionally from the very, very beginning, because what I want to do in the middle is I want to give readers a guide. Here's where you are. Here's where you are. Here's what's coming next. Now, there's some people, very strongly literary people, who say, oh, that's too ham-handed, it's not elegant enough. I think for business writing, that's crap. I think what you want to do is you want to give people those navigational tools along the way so they know where they are.
Not only do headers and subheaders help tell the reader what a section is about, but in the case of online writing, they also help with search engine optimization. Search engines like to see your target keywords mentioned in your headers and secondary headers, also known as H1s and H2s. Before you start writing a new piece of online content, think about how to incorporate your keywords into your post, including your headers. Finally, let's talk about conclusions. Too many writers don't spend enough time writing a conclusion and end up with something half-baked. But if your conclusion doesn't drive the point of the piece home, then the whole piece will fall flat. Here's how Dan Pink thinks of conclusions while he's writing.
And now, as for conclusions, it's going to vary. I think what you want to do in a conclusion at the very end is you want someone, when they're done reading it, what you want is when someone's done reading something you've written, you don't want them to move on to their next task in life right away. You want a little bit of a pause. You want them to go, huh, even if it's that short. You want to cause them to interrupt their life a little bit. Not immediately read your last word and go cooking a grilled cheese sandwich for their kids. Not immediately reading your last word and going to the gym. Not immediately reading your last word and going to deliver a meal to somebody. You want people to stop and linger a little bit. And there are all kinds of ways to do that. You can do it with a turn of phrase that sticks in people's heads. You can do it with a quotation that sticks in people's heads. You can also do it in a way that you often see with short stories, is that the key to a short story in fiction is not for everything to be wrapped up, for there to be a sense like, oh my God, something's going to happen next. I wonder what that's going to be, but the story just ended. And so the most important thing, I think, is a sense of intentionality. You want to be intentional about how something begins. You want to be intentional about the signposts along the way. And you want to be intentional about how it ends.
So there you have it, a short guide to writing better introductions, bodies, and conclusions. Now, you'll be able to hook people into reading your content, guide them through their reading experience, and then drive the point home at the end.